Joining me right now from the School of Roch, Roch Kubatko. Roch, good afternoon to you.
How you doing?
Doing well. We talked a little bit about Dean Kremer. And it was funny to hear Tony Mansolino kind of reflect the personality that we know about Dean, that a lot of people out there don't know about Dean, about him advocating, always wanting to pitch, always wanting to be in the mix. He's, just shy of his career high in innings pitched. I have that sneaky feeling that we'll see Dean Kremer today.
Yeah, I think that's the only time you say Dean Kremer and Shy together. I mean, I like to have the counter argument here, and we could wager, but I agree with you. I think we're going to see Dean Kremer. It's not guaranteed, but I think there's an excellent chance of it. You know, you said 2 1/3 innings short of his career high, but I don't know if that's the real motivation here. He just always wants to be used in relief. He's always available. He's always advocating for it, as Tony Mansolino said. And the bullpen really could use him. Now, he's done it once this year, and it was in bulk relief, and it was like massive bulk relief. I don't think we see that. With Kyle Bradish starting, kind of maybe, tap the brakes a little on him now in his final start. They're coming back from the surgery. And this is a guy, I would say, at least 2 2/3 innings you might get out of him today. He's only done this twice in his major league career, pitching in relief, but he has done it a little bit in the minors. So I think he wants to pitch anyway. He's on his turn today because he started Tuesday. But I'm sure also he looked at that innings total and said, man, 2 1/3, to come that close, he'd really like to get his career high. So it works for both parties. So I think there's a really good chance that we see him come in. And again, the bullpen really could use somebody to help them out because they've been used quite a bit lately.
And there's nothing wrong with setting personal goals, in my opinion, Roch. You have a starting pitcher who wants to pitch more innings, who wants to get that personal goal of innings pitched of the year. I say go for it, man. I mean, a lot of guys shut it down 162 when you have nothing to play for, allegedly.
It'd be nicer if you wouldn't do it because he was starting game whatever of the division series with a wild card. But again, since that isn't happening with the club this year, you do look a little bit more at individual goals. But also, again, from the team concept, he wants to help out the bullpen, help out this pitching staff, make Tony Mansolino's job a little bit easier, which he could do today, assuming he can give them a little bit of length.
Now, off-season is upon us in 9 innings. What are some of the top priorities for this Baltimore Orioles team? Because they have a lot of priorities.
They do. But first of all, we'd like an explanation. We're going to be talking to Mike Elias this week about his promotion, President of Baseball Operations, and General Manager. The title says now. Is he hiring a General Manager? And if so, how do they work together? Is Elias still going to have the final say in everything? How, what are the General Manager's responsibilities? It's very common now to see that arrangement in Major League Baseball. But, how is this going to work with them? The managerial situation. Will we get clarity tomorrow? I'm not saying necessarily name somebody, but is Tony Mansolino in the mix? Are they moving on? Could he stay in the organization? He's a really good baseball man. And would it be possible to put him back in a coaching, instruction, teaching capacity, which is what he loves to do? But if you get a new manager and if he wants all his own people, that's not happening. I don't think you kick Tony upstairs. I don't think you put a jacket and tie on Tony Mansolino. That's really not his thing. He is a teacher. He is a baseball guy. And then, they have to do something with the rotation, and I think that's true with so many teams. It all starts with starting pitching. Look, Bradish, Trevor Rogers, that's a nice 1-2. But I think you go out there and you aim high. And either you get a number 1 or you get somebody who separates those two, or you can push Rogers even to being a number 3. Yeah. That is a big top 3, and if you're not going to spend in free agency to do it. You have restocked the farm system since the trade deadline, and you could go ahead and move some guys and try and swing a deal. However you end up doing it, you have those 3. And you've got Dean Kremer and maybe Tyler Wells if he's not in the bullpen, as much as they need relievers. If Tyler Wells, he's such a good starter, and he's shown that he can do that. It's quite the luxury if you're just going to dump him in the bullpen. I think he's a guy who competes for a starting spot. And then Grayson Rodriguez is the wild card. You don't count on him like you did this year. Yeah. Anything you get from him is a bonus. But imagine if you get a healthy Grayson Rodriguez in spring training who pitches like he did before the injury that he had, one of them in 2024. And that guy's like your number 4 or 5. That would make you a really deep unit. And then the bullpen. You've traded, 4 guys? Felix Bautista's out with his shoulder surgery, so now you need a closer as well. That's where you're going to be the busiest. You basically have to rebuild the entire bullpen. probably an outfielder, and then you need a super utility guy, which doesn't sound like a sexy move, but without Ramon Urias, you need someone who's really versatile and can hit a little bit for you. Jeremiah Jackson has done a great job. I think he's passed his audition of getting a shot to be on the roster next year, but he's not a guy you're going to move all around. I mean, he's a right fielder / third baseman who right now is better in right field. So I think you're going to have to still go out and try and find somebody that you're going to be able to really move around a lot like you could Urias and really trust him defensively. Got some contract decisions to make. Jorge Mateo, you picking up that option? I think it's $5.5 million. Ryan Mountcastle, we were kind of saying our goodbyes in the clubhouse this morning, just like, hey, hope to see you next year. And he really doesn't know. He wants to be back. He's got one more year of arbitration eligibility. Is he a non-tender candidate, especially with Kobe Mayo, Samuel Basallo playing first base? So there are just some big decisions they're going to have to make. This might be the busiest offseason that I've covered in a very, very long time.
Roch Kubatko, thank you very much, sir. So
Thank
if
you,
it's
pal.
busy off season, go get to work.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, my man.